Welcome to the Let's Get Gritty podcast. With yours truly, Dr. India White. I'm thrilled to be here with you guys. I hope you're having a wonderful Juneteenth. This is a wonderful day to celebrate African Americans, in particular, the Black race, and their ability to overcome and to be resilient and now thrive in liberty, and continuing to become first generation, cycle breakers and, achieve wonderful historical things like they've always done. I am celebrating Black excellence today. And I want to just encourage all of you guys to look into some, great people within the United States and beyond of the Black race that have done so many great things that have helped our society become as powerful and wonderful as it is today. I mean, I want to honor, the African-American queen that founded the GPS. If it wasn't for her, I know I surely wouldn't know where I'm going. I just came back from Chicago and I would have been a hot mess had this sister not gone on and done something for us. So I want to give her a shout out. Now, with that said, I do want to go ahead and start with some announcements. First things first, the Let's Get Gritty podcast will be featured on Spotify, and you can also find it on all of my main social media channels. Okay. Speaking of my social media channels, if you're wanting to follow me on social media, my social media handles are going to be: Facebook is Miss India White, LinkedIn is The India White, Twitter is Indie Speak and Teach, Instagram is Indie238. My YouTube channel is India White 123. Please follow me and like and subscribe to my channel. Trying to build my audience. And then my TikTok is Dr. India White. Blue Sky is it's just look me up, okay? Dr. India White. I'm not sure. I think it's like Dr. India White. One of my friends told me what it was the other day. And so with that said, I also want to invite you guys to check out the website, www.india-white.com, for books, blogs, or to schedule me for an upcoming speaking event, coaching event. I know many of you are planning for the school year. You administrators and principals, reach out to me. I'd be honored to join you. I'm already scheduled for some events. I'm excited about Camp's Conference in Texas next month. In a couple days, I will be with Adam Lane and the crew. We will be doing a virtual event with Nevada leaders from all over the nation. And so I'm excited about that. So I'll be sending out things like that. Please join us. You give us virtual high fives. And thank you, Adam, Dr. Adam, and all of the people in Nevada for, the various organizations and associations with that gave me an opportunity to speak on your platform. I'll also be heading your way, Los Angeles, in August. I'm excited about that, doing some training there. I'm excited about the NCSM conference and the NCTM conference and the Making Math Moments conferences. Whew, we are busy. But before I even just, transition, I do want to say I just got back from Chicago, and I'm so thankful for everyone and the NCTM and the NCTE joint conference that gave me the opportunity to speak and to mingle among some of the top leaders across our nation in the math area and in the English field. And we had a blast. And so I want to, from the bottom of my heart, thank everyone for the opportunity, and of course for the NCTM opportunity around the corner in NCSM. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the future. All right. Now, I also wanted to remind you guys, of course, I've got the Grit Mini Workshop that has been launched on the Grassroots Workshops website. So go ahead and check that out whenever you get a chance. Also, if you're tutoring a student, SAT, ACT, send it my way. I would love to help them however fit. I think it's just kind of one of those things. I feel so blessed to see that, I pour into these little ones and then they come back with, these wonderful scores. They got into that college, they passed, they went, got their promotion and things like that. And so with that said, please keep me posted. And also just a reminder of the great calendars that were launched earlier this year. Get your copy while you can. Now, enough about me. Bring on someone here who, it's like, as educators, as leaders, you see certain future generation rock stars. They have the it factor, right? And it's an honor to be able to look at someone and to see that you gave them a little nugget of advice they take it and run with it, and they run past any expectations you might have had, and they just show out. Well, this next person that I'm bringing on, I met this young man at one of the conferences, and I was speaking at a conference, and there was the synergy there. He also was doing some speaking and whatnot. And at the time I met him, he was working on his dissertation. Now he is officially doctor. And not only that, he the next month went and landed his first TED Talk. I think his first one. And he's planning for the next TED Talk. I don't want to say too much more. I want to welcome to the Let's Get Ready podcast Dr. Deshaun Washington, who is a TEDx speaker, business owner, and educator. Welcome to the Let's Get Ready podcast, Dr. Deshaun Washington. How are you?
Shout out to the Gritty Nation. Shout out to you, Dr. White. What's going on, everyone? I'm doing well, and I just want to add one other thing. I'm also the 2024 Massachusetts Teacher of the Year, the first Black man in the history of Massachusetts to have such designation. It's a beautiful day of liberation on Juneteenth, and we're just here to celebrate.
Yes, well, congratulations. So you're the 2024 Massachusetts Teacher of the Year. Mm-hmm. OMG, I've got to connect you with Dr. Dre Cute. All right, this is all making sense now. So listen, OMG, you've got to tell us about yourself, Dr. Deshaun. You are definitely in the right space. You're in front of the right people. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did all this evolve? Talk to us about you.
Absolutely. Well, as someone who was a kid growing up in Boston, Massachusetts, one of the best cities in the world, in my opinion, my grandmother was actually my first teacher and was my first person who liberated me to engage in this thing called teaching and learning. And I was 2-3 years old, and she would bring me over to the Boston Library every single day. We would sit down together. We would read books for hours upon hours, and she gave me this really igniting joy about picking up books and be able to explore imagination and create new visions of possibilities and make those dreams into realities that really came from stemming from books and reading about people that look like me and laughing at the pictures and the illustrations and just seeing the concept of reading as a liberating tool of knowledge and wisdom. Grandma really dropped that seed upon me, and as I grew up in Boston, went through Boston public schools and, gone to college in Boston, one of the elements that I really took away from me was how reading allowed for my mind to be able to create and to generate new possibilities for myself and possibilities for other people as well. I really find that literacy is a very important part of our children's liberation, our salvation, our freedom. If we have the ability to read, we can truly navigate academics and books, but also scenarios and circumstances in life. Right. And that really all comes from really that concept of establishing language early on in kids' lives. And so as an ambassador of public education in the state of Massachusetts and nationally as well, one of my calls of action is to elevate the joy, the passion, the grit, if you will, of reading, how important reading is to our children and why we need as a liberating tool to create critical thinkers who are college, career, citizenship ready, and civic minded in our world today.
This is fabulous. Now, you talk about literacy and reading. And so is that like your forte, just really dealing with the literacy and the reading components of education? Because I want to talk with you too about the NAEP data, which Dr. Dre Cubed, who I will be introducing you to. That's a synergetic relationship. Shout out to Dr. Dre Graham Cubed. He has 3 doctorates. And he was one of the people that actually showed me that one of the first people that broke out the NAEP data that showed me that if we continue education the way we've been doing, it's going to take us into the year 2241. And that was in 2019 that we got that data, 2241 to bridge the achievement gap. So with that said, you're very passionate. And I know that you're also a business owner. You own a business about cultivating change makers, right? Talk to us a little bit about how your pursuit of cultivating change makers is going to really help us to bridge that gap in the area of literacy, when it comes down to the NAEP data and how our students are doing.
Yes, it's interesting. So I'll tell the backstory how Cultivating Changemaker started, and then I'll tell you from there like, everything we're doing.
Sounds good.
So Cultivating Changemakers really started really as a way to make money as Teacher of the Year. So a backstory is that when you become, every state has a state Teacher of the Year. Every state does this. And then there's a group of all the state teachers of the year that come together, and then we have like a cohort. So what happens is that, we're called to do keynote speeches, make appearances, do the thing of showing yourself out to the public, and not allowed to accept honorariums at all. So they're like, in order to, accept honorariums, you need to create a business, create like LLC where the honorariums could go through the LLC, not necessarily directly to you. And so that's how that started, Cultivating Changemakers. But then I'm like, okay, I want to do something more than just use as a funnel for honorariums. So my real reason why I got Teacher of the Year, beyond the literacy and the math and all that good stuff, was that I was really strong at cultivating relationships between students and each other, as well as students and teacher. I have a 4-step process that starts with seed planting, which is when teachers get to know their students, watering when we nourish the blessing of who those children are and who they're becoming, the pruning process of taking out some of those bad stems that are impacting growth and impacting achievement, and that leads to a harvest of people that are academically sound and academically proficient. And this is across curriculum. Research has shown that when teachers are able to forge impactful relationships on their students, it leads to achievement. It leads to outcomes. It leads to success of our students. So to tie this back down to literacy, and specifically reading and then financial literacy, been on a tour over the last year and some change, working with policymakers and legislative people in Massachusetts and in Rhode Island as well to help to elevate reading and literacy as a form of liberation, as a form of a tool for academic success.
You said Rhode Island?
Rhode Island as well, yeah.
I got some connections for you. So
appreciate
Rhode Island rock stars. You guys hear him? Okay, so if you're from Rhode Island, you better reach out to this man because he's doing some powerful things. And I've got a plethora of people I'm going to send your way, Dr. Deshaun. I think this is powerful what you're doing. I can't stop smiling because I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I mean, it was an honor to just have you sit in my session, but you already had this thing going. Like you were already rocking this thing out.
I'm a quiet mover, many people view me as quiet and kind of to self, but then they hear me speak and they hear me see me in action, and they're like, oh, this is not the same person I envisioned based on the stealth movement that he does out in public. But yeah, it's all good. So I think that really resonated with me, this call of action to elevate literacy and access to books and access to curriculum for all of our children. We have over 600 legislation proposals over the last 5 years that has been attempted to remove access to truth. And that's just an injustice. And we have to rewrite that script, so that kids can see and read about the truth of the history in the United States, the truth about history and various revolutions and all those things that are being taken away from schools, and revamping what education looks like, as well as reading as a tool for knowledge and wisdom, not a tool that some people are trying to put away for us so that we can be liberated. So that's the work there. And then I'm also working on financial literacy as well, which in 38 of our 50 states, Dr. White, we don't have a financial literacy graduation requirement.
We don't.
Only 12 states do. And more than 30 states actually don't even offer financial literacy at all as a course. So we're talking about millions of kids every year are not even accessing any type of financial literacy. They're going to college, not even talking about financial literacy, and then starting businesses or, trying to buy a home and not having an idea of how money works. And so we're writing curriculum right now through Cultivating Changemakers. It's going to be a K-12 curriculum that's going to really showcase the importance of building up tolerance and building up understanding
Beautiful.
of how money works from kindergarten all the way to 12th grade. And we're going
That's
to understand
literally
personal finance, and we're going to understand investment finance and entrepreneurship finance. So when kids graduate, they're walking away having a strong understanding of how money works. They'll have real world application through projects, presentations, hands-on experience of investing. They're going to have all these experiences that's going to go with financial literacy and be financially literate. Just like reading, they'll be literate when they graduate.
And so I think one thing I could couple with that to partner with you on that is my side gig, is helping people to know how to budget, how to make money, how to make, financially savvy choices. And so I think it's great because you're right, that financial literacy is not really prevalent in the world of education. And even educators sometimes don't even know about, the options that are there for them because they're just so busy trying to save the world, right? So I think this is great. Now, I don't want to sway away from the fact that you are a TEDx speaker now. Congratulations, Dr. Deshawn. You're my TEDx brother for life. Once you're in the TED space, you never leave. Like, it's just, you meet so many different TEDxers, and we're just like this big tribe just taking over. And so I want to share a little bit of your TEDx with the audience, if that's okay. I'm just Absolutely. So proud of you. I'm just loving this. So I'm going to share with you guys this amazing TEDx. Let me know if you see the screen. All right. So Roxbury, is that in Massachusetts? Where is that?
Yeah, Roxbury is in Boston. It's where culture is where you see a lot of Black folks who grew up and spend their time in Boston.
Uh-huh.
Roxbury is one of those areas where a lot of Black folks live. Yep.
Okay. So teachers, this is titled Liberating Lives Through Literacy. So all of you literate, man, Dr. Deshawn, you should have really been at NCTE this past weekend. But anyways, I'll hook you up. Liberating Lives Through Literacy, a New Vision for Education. So this is the title. All of my ELA rock stars, pay attention. We'll play a little bit of his clip.
Oh. What if I told you that the greatest act of social justice wasn't a law, a policy, or even a movement, but a book? And what if I told you that that greatest act of social justice wasn't just one particular book, but a collection of thousands of books rooted in the ability to know how to read? I'm talking about being able to read and make meaning of the words that's coming off the page and be able to apply the lessons from the text and apply it to life application. Yeah. Or to be inspired to create a new invention that will help to make the world a better place. Or simply just having laughter and joy with a friend as you share a book together and smile and laughing at all the pages that are on the text. Or to be moved to write that legislation, that policy, that law that leads to social justice.
All right. I don't want to get flagged for, I'm going to come back to that, but I don't want to get flagged by TEDx.
Hey, I was reciting that word for word. I haven't watched it yet. I've been waiting to take a look and watch it in full, but I'm like, I still remember every word, every movement I need to make. It was crazy.
How long so tell us about that, because I know you have it all together, but when you're thrown into the TED space, you probably had a TED coach. There were so many different things you had to memorize your lines, and tell us about that when you first got on that red dot, what that was like being on the dot for you.
For sure. So in November 2024, I submitted my application for the story, Liberating Lives Through Literacy. And I got accepted probably around December, January. Mm-hmm. And so I got assigned to a TEDx coach, multiple coaches actually. And we would meet every Sunday at my old high school, City on the Hill Charter School in Boston. And so that feeling in itself was like I was going back home to my high school
Yeah.
to do my prep
Yeah.
work every Sunday. That automatically
Mhm.
gave me like a chill of like, ooh, the good times of high school.
Yeah.
And then I would meet with my coach, and I would have my talk already set up, ready to go. And we would have coaching sessions where we would practice like movement on the stage, certain points of emphasis that I
Yes.
need to hit, um, when to take appropriate pauses, when to allow for crowd reaction, all these movements that you had to kind of like figure out along the way. And also you're trying to also brush up your story because you're getting feedback on like what to change and how to make it more impactful. So you're getting feedback, you're practicing with other TEDx speakers, and you do that for 2 months or so. And then in May, I did my actual TED Talk. So what I did was the night before the TED Talk, we had to arrive at the site, which was on Roxbury Community College in Roxbury. And we would like stand on the stage. They would give us the big red dot, and we'll practice walking around and tell our story, what have you, and we'll get some final feedback. And I was the first person to go, so I was the first person up on the day
Yeah.
of TED Roxbury. So there was no like watching someone first and warming up the stage.
Yeah.
It was like
I think I was a second. So yeah, I was so nervous of it. Either way, you're still super nervous. They gave you a warm welcome too. Like before you got on with ours, it was, they just said your name and then they just gave you the time to talk. So I think it's good that they're able to warm you up.
Yeah, it's community, Roxbury. I mean, that's home for me. Home for a lot of the speakers that spoke that day. So we was well connected with community and was able to bring some of our family and friends to the event, but then also just community in Roxbury that wanted to listen to some great storytelling. So it was definitely a fan favorite crowd. People were really excited, and then, when they say your bio and, 2024 Massachusetts Teacher of the Year, that automatically gets like a lot of love and responses from people. So, it felt really good to get on there first. And I'll tell you, when I first went, I had to allow for, the claps to happen. So when those claps happened, it was like, damn, this feels really good. I was able to soak that in and allow me to be calm and relax for a moment as I was doing the rest of my TED Talk. And then once you get started, and this is to anyone who is interested in being a TEDx speaker or a TED speaker for that matter, the room is very dark. And so what happens is when you go into a room that's very dark, you can't see anything. You got this light like right shining on your eyes.
Right.
And I think it actually helps you a little bit if you have like stage fright or you're not really comfortable speaking of a large audience, because then
it was scary to me though. It was scary to me because there were no index cards. There was no one in the audience cueing you, and you couldn't see them anyway if they were there. And it was just this light streaming to, so it was all you. And if you messed up, okay, so I don't know if you had a time where you almost messed up. I almost messed up. So if you do, I need you to tell us about that, because like your talk was 17 minutes, mine was like 10 minutes and 30 seconds, but yours was much longer. And I mean, that's a lot of mental resilience and, being able to just having that headspace. So talk to us about that.
Yeah, Dr. White, I was told I was freestyling because I'm like, when I practiced the night before, it was 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it became 17 minutes the day I actually had the live recording. So I'm like, wait a minute, 17 minutes, 37 seconds, really? And one of the people were like, yeah, you was freestyling. And so I have to go back and watch to see where my freestyles were, where I was like, saying something off the cuff, but I was just in it. And I was also getting very comfortable. Once I got comfortable, I was able to say whatever I wanted. I had the audience in the palm of my hand. I was good.
Yeah. So my question is, who was your ideal audience for that talk?
So the ideal audience for Liberating Lives Through Literacy actually was parents or community members who are wanting to empower their child to be lifelong readers. So while it's educational talk, if you will, it really was directed to families and directed to
Right.
community members and those who love children and love books, who want to empower children to be lovers of reading and lovers of knowledge and wisdom
Beautiful.
that comes from reading. So it really was meant for the general audience.
And so, have you been able to tap into any of those people? I know it's a brand new talk. Have you been able to reach any of them since the talk and, I guess, bless them with that and, maybe go next steps? What, if not, what would you like to do with, the results of the talk?
Yeah, this is a great question. So I've had one family that came up to me. We sat down for maybe like 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and just really talked about the importance of deliberating lives through literacy, TEDx talk, and how it really shifted their family paradigm to start practicing at home, picking up books, in the morning, picking up books in the evening, and sharing text amongst each other. So it was a family of 4, and up to that point, they weren't really practicing reading. It really rejuvenated them to build connections with each other through the concept of reading. So I give this acronym called READ in the midst of my TEDx talk. It's in the second half of the talk. I'll let you all, go on and take a listen to it so you can see what READ is. But one of the elements of READ is really to enhance engagement. That's the E for READ, is engage. And the importance of establishing community within your family or within your community space through the concept of text and talking about text and socializing. We spend more time on phones and on tablets than we do on books and reading. It's just this data. We have children that 7 out of 10 children say, I don't enjoy reading. That's not okay to me.
It's not okay.
So we have to reinvigorate what joy is in reading.
And the thing is, but the thing is, you're competing with Netflix, Snapchat, TikTok, mostly Snapchat. So how can we then disrupt that force through reading, and give these kids, a palette for reading?
Absolutely. Well, that's the seed planting work that, in the TEDx talk that starts very early in life. To go back to my story with my grandmother, 2-3 years old, very early in life, there's a love of doing an activity, spending community time with my grandmother, sharing a text together.
And
if I
happy Juneteenth to her, whether she's here or is she still alive?
She passed on, but I know that she would be very appreciative.
Honor.
Yes, in her honor. Appreciate that. So, I think that's like one of the first things is that we have to establish culture where reading is not punitive or is viewed as a net negative, but something that is viewed as an opportunity for social and community engagement with one another. It's something that we actually need in order to advance our lives and create legacy for ourselves. And so I think that's like a shift of the mind. Yes, we're going to always have the computers, the Netflix, the Snapchats, and, all these other, sites that's just coming out and all these different things. And there's something special when you're able to connect through stories.
Yeah. Now, there's a woman down here. She was a commissioner in Hillsborough named Gwen, and she just recently passed, but she started a African-American and Black cultural museum library where she put a lot of the books and things that were banned and, just rich cultural facts about, our history, as a people. She put it in her library. God bless her soul. She recently just passed. But I think that, you triumphing or taking something like that and running with it would be ideal. What is your dream? What is your long dream of what? Brilliant. So it's on you. The success oozes off of you, and you're giving Frederick Douglass vibes in a good way. So what do you want to do? What do you see your potential with all of this?
Well, this coming up, I'm going to be doing some curriculum writing on financial literacy.
Excellent.
I've been doing a lot of research, and I'm seeing that young people and parents and teachers are moving through life illiterate in terms of financial literacy, when we talk about how money works, the importance of how to use money to work for you, to use the money to invest in the stock market or like real
Right.
estate, or invest in your own business, or
Crypto.
using crypto, or reading, a
Yeah.
balance sheet, or balancing an income statement, what have you.
Yes.
We don't have a lot of experience working with that, from the general public, and this is something that many young people, many teachers, and many families are asking for. And there are places where you could get some financial literacy, but most of the time you have to go to that place, which comes with a cost. It's not readily available necessarily. What I'm trying to do is create curriculum, kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, where financial literacy is meeting you where you're at your school. And so the way that we're going to do this is that we're going to create a roadmap, kindergarten to 12th. And I'm going to start with writing 12 lessons every grade, kindergarten to 12th. That's going to build on our relationship with money, our identity. How is our relationship and our identity, personal identity, build our relationship with money, to how to use money to start and fund a small business, to create a project, to go out in the world and create fun and do fundraising, to balancing budgets, to using money to invest in other businesses or in the stock market, what have you. And the goal is that children, when they graduate high school, not only going to be college, career, and citizenship ready, they're going to be financially literate in their ability to use money to make wise decisions, to prevent debt or to minimize the amount of debt they're going to have, maximize the opportunities to gain, to use money to advance their careers or advance their college learning, and just being able to use money as a vessel towards an end goal in mind. And just have 12, 13 years of knowledge of money and financial literacy. I mean, that's something only 12 states have. There are only 12 states in the entire United States that actually have financial literacy as some graduation requirement. That might just be a course, or it might be a couple of courses. There's another 38 states that does not have financial literacy, including my home state, Massachusetts. And there's over 30 states that does not even offer a financial literacy course at all. So we got a lot of work to do, and there's a high need in our country. So I see a need.
Beautiful.
And it's very rare that you get Black men to write curriculum that's for the benefit of the people. So that's another blessing. It's very rare to get a teacher of the year to write curriculum. That's not something you get every single day. So
now, have you talked to Massachusetts public schools about this?
Oh, yeah. So I attend different graduation council meetings, and we've been planting seeds about like the importance of financial literacy, that we're going to be writing financial literacy content, and that very soon in the fall, we're going to be sitting with people from the Department of Education for the state of Massachusetts, talking about, how to get this thing up and rolling. Because we see in the next 2 years, I think, Massachusetts, I think, is going to lean towards financial literacy as a graduation requirement. Definitely. And many school districts want to have it. They want to offer this type of course. They know their students want this course. And so there's an opportunity there, and I'm just trying to reach the needs of our students.
Well done. Well, Deshaun, that's pretty much it in our time. Two last questions, just really quick. Who is a mentor or someone you look up to?
Wow. A mentor, someone I look up to. Man, let's see if I can reduce that down to one or two. So one person I will say that I look up to is Sharif Al-Mekki. He is the founder of Center for Black Educator Development, CBED, and he's based in Philadelphia. Phenomenal advocate of Black male educators who call of action is to ensure that the elevation of Black teachers is increased, not just in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but across the nation. And he hosts the BMAC conference every November in Philadelphia. It's a conference that has grown now to thousands of Black men, and also lovers of Black men as well. So sisters go out, and other people who love Black men in education. And it's a really powerful network of just establishing community with other Black men in this teaching and learning thing that we do every day.
Excellent.
So he's one. And Rob Hendricks III, he is the founder of He Is Me Institute here in Boston. He has helped lead an affinity group space for Black male educators in the Boston area, where every second Saturday of each month, brothers come together in affinity space. We talk about things like radical rest and restoration for summertime. Beautiful. We talk about the joy of teaching. We also talk about the strength of asking for help. We talk about all types of conversations about the elevating of Black men in education space all the time, and how to navigate the political landmines that's in education, so that way we can continue to thrive and stay in the profession for a long period of time. So I'll say those two brothers, alive and well, doing their thing.
Well done.
Those are guys you could say easily look up to every day for more knowledge, wisdom, and just the advocacy for Black male educators in particular.
And then my last question, what do you like to do for fun? And are you going to do anything for fun this Juneteenth?
For Juneteenth, I'm actually going to go to the butterfly garden. I love butterflies. They're really cute, and
very nice.
A form of peace. Like their life expectancy is very short, but when they're flying around in the garden, and you could just see the beautiful colors of the spring, summer. You're just reminded of just how much peace that we're still seeking today. Butterflies move peacefully, and it's just a great symbolic representation of the peace that I try to seek each day. In terms of fun, I love playing flag football when I get a chance to be out on the field and be able to catch the football, and play defense has always been something I really enjoy and still enjoy to this day. Beach days in the morning, catching sunrises. I really enjoy all of that. It's part of my fun. So
Well, if you like a beach, you need to go to Siesta Key in Sarasota. That's a free one. Take your loved ones with you and go out there and have a good time. It's great. We invite you down to Florida. Just be safe when you're here. But anyways, thank you so much, Deshaun, for this time on the Let's Get Gritty podcast. You guys, you heard about his amazing accomplishments. How can you reach him? I want to leave with you guys some of his info. I think I shared with you. I'm going to share it again. His website, www.cultivatingchangemakersllc.org. Again, that is www.cultivatingchangemakersllc.org. His email is dwashington@cultivatingchangemakersllc.org. Again, dwashington@cultivatingchangemakersllc.org. You can find him on LinkedIn. It is his handle is Deshaun C. Washington. Again, his handle is Deshaun C. Washington, and his blue sky is D Washington 91. D Washington 91. Okay, so with that said, you rock stars are fabulous. Stay gritty. Take grit with you. Thanks again for joining me on the Let's Get Gritty podcast. And until next time, stay gritty. See ya. Thank you, Deshaun.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Yay! Congratulations.